Hey, so what are we going to talk about today?
Today we are going to talk about cross-country ski boots and specifically how to save your money and space. It's a piece of advice I wished someone had given us when we just started skiing a few years ago. So we enjoy both classic and skating, so we ended up with more and more boots.
Wow, that's quite a collection. What can you tell me about it?
Indeed. Let's talk about this Salomon RS8. This was our first skating boot when we didn't have any baseline yet, and then I switched to this Fischer Carbon skate boot, and I immediately felt that this bracket gave me more stability, and I didn't have to focus on my balance so much anymore.
Okay, but why did you switch in the first place?
So these Salomons, they started to wear out a little bit, and I was looking to upgrade my gear, and I saw a good discount on those ones, so I just decided to give it a try.
So how did we end up with all of the boots on the table?
Yeah, so what I didn't realize before is that the size of the boot is just an approximation. Like all these boots, they're all Fischer, but they all have a different fit to them. When you order boots online, it's always good to order at least two sizes to compare against. At a physical store, you usually have more sizes, but then you only get a few minutes to try them on.
Yeah, I feel like in physical stores there's a lot of pressure to quickly try the boots and then just make a decision very quickly. There is not enough time to actually evaluate whether this is the right model and the right size for you.
Exactly, and that's a terrible situation to judge a boot in. The best case scenario is when you are at a ski resort and you can rent different models and see them in action. And that's basically how I ended up with these Fischer Carbonlite. We were at Levy, and I felt like I need to size up from my carbon skates because they were size 43, but I started getting pinched toes, so I thought, yeah, I need to change these. Luckily, they have a very broad selection there of different models, different brands, and I tried these Carbonlites in size 44, and I realized that's the boot I should have.
Okay, that was all about the skate ones. What about the classic boots? I see we have a couple of classic boots here as well.
It's more or less the same story. When you are just starting out, you think I'll go with the cheapest, and then if I don't like classic, at least I haven't spent a fortune on gear. But the problem with this approach is that cheap boots, they're never good. Like in case of this one, it's way too hot. It doesn't offer any stability to your foot, and in the end of the day, they just provide you a subpar experience on the snow.
Yeah, I see. So it looks like they're meant for an occasional skier.
Indeed, and these Speed Maxis, they are on a totally different side of the spectrum. They let you feel the grip zone of the ski, like there is nothing between your foot and the ski. They fit like a glove, but they are super cold.
Usually you're not complaining about the cold, so this is a bit strange.
Exactly, I can spend all day in these Carbonlites at minus 20 degrees, but these boots, after an hour at minus 10, that's when I really start hating them.
Okay, interesting. But what about the BOA system? I think that's quite innovative, quite new, quite interesting.
Speaking about the BOA system, it turns out I'm not a big fan of it. Like with the other Fischer boots, I've learned a procedure that you tie them up, then you retie them after a warm-up, and that's it. They never come loose. But with the BOA system, it's hard to be as consistent.
I would have never guessed that.
No. One day the fit is perfect, but then the other day they are too loose or too tight, and by the time you notice it, your toes are already freezing.
Okay, but where do you actually go from here? So you tried the cheapest and the most expensive one. What's next?
Yeah, a good question. And next came this boot, which is a Fischer Carbonlite Skiathlon boot. So we are big fans of skiathlon, and I started looking at skiathlon boots, and then I found this one, and I really wanted to try it.
Okay, I think there's always lots of prejudice about the combi boots. So how come you actually decided to try them?
Honestly, with cheaper combi boots, that reputation is totally deserved, but this one is different. Like, do you see the difference between this one, these carbon lights, and these carbon skates?
I'm not sure. I think most of them look more or less the same.
Yeah, they are pretty close to each other, but the difference is subtle. Like, they got this bottom from the carbon lights, but it's more flexible for your striding motion, and the top comes from these carbon skates. So this bracket is less intrusive, and it doesn't stand in the way of your striding technique.
Okay, but how does it affect the skating technique? Does it still work?
It works. It works very well. The body of the boot is a little bit more flexible, but you should be really aggressive to start feeling it.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a bit worse on paper, but maybe irrelevant for most of the people.
Exactly. For a recreational skier, it's more than adequate.
And I don't remember when was the last time you skied in your Speedmax, the most expensive boots.
No, I really love these skiathlon boots, and that's the boot I take to our boot camps. That's the only pair I take, and we ski both classic and skate, and it's absolutely sufficient.
But can you use them in the summer as well, in roller skiing?
Yeah, you can use them in the summer as well, and the tip here is to use your winter sock. Yes, you heard it right, winter sock.
Okay.
I know, it sounds crazy, and I thought so too when someone told me to use winter socks when roller skiing, but let's look closely. Nothing about it screams breathability. It's meant to conserve heat. So what happens in the summer is that with a thin summer sock, the sweat is nowhere to go, and your foot starts gliding back and forth.
Yeah, in that case you get blisters and you get really painful toes. I think I experienced that myself, and that's not ideal.
Exactly, and with a winter sock you won't get any of these. This is my go-to setup these days at -20 or +20. I never change anything anymore.
Okay, so after all of this experimenting, what's the conclusion?
The conclusion is don't cheap out on boots. Don't go for these cheapest models, because you won't be happy with them really quickly. But also probably don't go for the ultimate race model. And the sweet spot for many recreational skiers could be just this skiathlon boot. It could probably be the only boot you ever need.
And that will definitely save you a lot of space in your wardrobe.
Yes, true that.